In today's video, we're going to be looking at an updated guide on how to be farming your energy activators and crystallization catalysts. There's a couple really good ways of focusing on doing so, but I will just preface right up front, the best way you can be farming for either of these is just doing it passively as you're farming for any gear or descendant out there. That's how I've gotten most mine, but if you do really specifically need catalysts or activators, this is going to be the method for you. Things have changed quite a bit in terms of like our overall power as a community in our descendants and our gear, all of that good stuff. So we do have a few more options that are really quick now. So there's a quite bit more we can do, and I'm going to be going over all of that in this video. And also I'm going to be going over my favorite farming locations for the different materials for the crystallization catalysts and the energy activators. So if you guys are curious on how to actually put them together and the best ways of getting the materials to do that, that will also be covered later in this video. I will be streaming right as Ultimate Valby is dropping, and I'm going to be putting together her build right away. So if you guys are interested in seeing on how she's doing, make sure you stop by over on the stream at any point during the day. But let's go ahead and jump into this farm. So the best way of farming activators and catalysts is still going to be doing these operation missions, these infiltrations. So if you come over to this terminal here in Albion and we go to hard infiltrations, this is going to give us our best chances. They're going to be 20% for the catalysts and 6% for the activators. Now, there's 3 missions that we can do for this. There's going to be the Magister's Lab, Sepulture, and the Shelter. Sepulture is the one that I originally did, and I still find this one to be very good, especially early on if you're not all that geared yet. You're going to fight hard Devourer, and in my opinion, Devourer is the easiest boss, but there is also the Shelter, but I think this is a little bit more dependent on having a really geared bunny for getting through it quickly. Sepulture, you really don't need bunny. On like my Enzo, I can do it in the exact same amount of time as I do on my bunny, which is like 5.5, 6 minutes or so. The Shelter took me like 5.5, 6 minutes on my bunny, but the quickest one in my opinion is Magister's Lab, but you are going to need to fight the Executioner, which in my opinion is a little tougher and takes us slightly longer. But once you're geared, the time difference between the boss kill times of Devourer and Executioner is really very minimal, and you're going to save probably a minute plus a run here on Magister's Lab just because it is that quick, assuming you're using bunny, that is. The one issue though with Magister's Lab is the modifiers need to roll. So as you are rolling these, you're going to need to spend a little bit of gold and then see what the kill score bonus is when you select these, and this is going to determine if you complete it or not. 230 you can do it, but you might need to farm some of the enemies in the final boss room. I have noticed if I get 240 or 250, I don't have to farm anybody at all. Basically, I can essentially kill the boss as quick as I can and still get the max rewards, which is going to give us 2 of the amorphous materials. This is where we're going to be getting our catalysts and our activators. Now, by default, at least on this one, it is going to be the crystallization catalyst in this amorphous material. If you want to get an activator, go up to the top right corner here. It's crazy to me how many people have missed this button. Click change, and there's going to be a second amorphous material that you can pick. So click on that and apply. And when you check that out, it's going to have a whole different set of rewards. And now this one is going to have the energy activator. So depending on which one you're looking for, you can pick between the two. Unfortunately, there's no amorphous material out there that you can farm both of them in the same opening, but you can take your pick and get the guaranteed 2. Just once again, on Magister's Lab, look for like 240 as your kill score modifier. On Sepulture, you can do it at like 220. I've had basically no issues, but 230 I don't even have to think anymore. The same thing with the Shelter. If you get 230, you really don't have to think about making sure you farm anything. With the Shelter in the opening encounter, as you're depositing the different pickups into the container, make sure you get to between like 12 and 13,000 score right in there. Depending on what your kill score modifier is, it's going to be right in there towards the end of all those waves. That's when you know you can finish picking everything up and depositing it into that receptacle. If you do it all too early, you're not going to get all the spawns and you're not going to get all of the kill score. So that is one issue to look at with the Shelter. But with Sepulture, you basically just kill everything you see and go as quick as you can, and you're good to go. So that's another reason I like that one. But once again, if you're trying to go as fast as humanly possible and you have really good boss killing builds, really good clearing bunnies, Magister's Lab is going to be your quickest bet. A pro tip for these missions: if you want to keep the modifiers that you rolled for, say it took you a really long time to get one of the 240s, you can actually just restart the mission from within there. So if you get to that end screen where you can see all your score and your rewards, if you hit restart mission there, it's going to keep all of the modifiers that you rolled for. So if you get a really good set and you want to farm up a bunch of amorphous materials from that one good set, don't want to re-roll, make sure you keep restarting it and get a little bit of a stockpile. Otherwise, you're gonna have to go back to Albion and re-roll an entire new set of modifiers. So when I made my initial video on the best catalyst and activator farms, I had no idea that this was even a thing in the game because I'd never really played these missions co-op. But there is kind of, I don't know if it's a bug, if it's intended, or what's going on. Definitely seems like a bug. Once I get with 3 or 4 players, then the missions start to get a little weird and it's harder to hit the kill scores. Like specifically in Sepulture, in that mission, if you get to the final boss room with 3 or 4 players in the game, the big group of enemies right before the boss spawns, they'll just like despawn before you kill all of them and you'll miss out on a ton of score. So that is something to keep in mind if you are trying to farm these. I've noticed though in the shelter, this isn't as much of an issue. So if you're trying to farm in a group of 3 or 4, I would definitely recommend running the shelter. That should be your quickest bet. So if you decided to farm Sepulture or the shelter, that's where you're gonna be farming Hard Devour. Once again, with just like an Enduring Legacy and Enzo, I'm doing this in like 15, 16 seconds. If you have any other really good bossing build, he's super quick and easy. You probably won't even see his like immunity phase with the healing pylons. You're probably not going to see those. Executioner, this is like another 30-20 second kill right in there. You'll most likely see his immunity phase, but his back breaks really quickly. At least for me, it's like a few shots with the Enduring Legacy and it goes down and I can finish killing him in the same magazine. So it's either way, whatever one you prefer, they're going to be very quick fights as long as you have fairly decent gear. I would just steer towards Devourer if you are a little bit earlier on in endgame and don't have the greatest setups yet. So now that you've farmed up your blueprints for the Crystallization Catalyst and the Energy Activators, you're going to need the materials to build each of them. So going over the catalysts first, the big ones that you're going to need to be farming for are the Murky Energy Residue and the Advanced Neural Circuits. The other two are just going to be coming from Encrypted Vaults and Outposts, so they're very straightforward. It's going to tell you exactly where to go if you go into the acquisition info. With the Murky Energy Residue, this is going to come from a mission monster within the 2 Sterile Lands operations. I like to do the Unknown Laboratory. Within there, you can get there basically within like a minute. There's going to be an elite. He's going to drop the little mission item that you need to deposit in the box once you're in like the big desert cave. Can't miss him. He's needed for the mission. So if you have a bunny, you can get there really quickly and he's going to drop a pretty decent amount for you. And then with the actual Advanced Neural Circuits, this is the one I'm usually out of these 4. This and the Biogel, but these are super easy to get. These I like to farm within the mission in the White Knight Gulch, the border line of truth down here. If you spawn at this little fast travel, there's actually a lift that's going to take you across this gap, so you don't have to walk all the way around. Just hop on the little lift, it'll float you across and you can run this mission. It's just like one of those big hologram circles with all the enemies spawning in it, so the quicker you clear, the quicker they're going to be spawning. And there's like basically 3 rounds of elites that are going to be dropping the brains for you. I know people are doing like a sniping trick over here. I think it's on the DNA detector spray zone on the north side of the map. So you can try that too if you have a good sniper. But I personally just keep running the borderline of truth. It's just super quick and easy on my bunny, but that should get you your Crystallization Catalyst. Now the energy activators, these are also pretty easy to farm. The first material is just from the Kingston Outpost. The conductive metallic foils are just Vesper encrypted vaults, so quick and straightforward there. These last 2 though are going to be ones that you need to farm, and there's a couple options for each of them. So the heat plasma battery, this is also like the 2 missions. So I personally like the Haven over here on Hagos. Once you go in there, you're just going to run past all of the enemies, drop down the big drop down, and you're going to end up in the part of the mission after the lasers where you have to destroy like the 3 objectives. Within the last objective, all of the enemies spawning there's going to be a yellow bar that spawns. If you kill him, he's going to drop you around like 10, give or take a few, depending on your role. of these heat plasma batteries, and then you can just abandon the mission and restart it from Albion. So just whenever you get these mission drops within there, just hit abandon mission and restart it from Albion. It's going to be much quicker than completing the whole thing. Now, the final piece is the polyatomic ion particle. These are going to be coming from the fortress. Now, the one I personally really like is the command relay here within the Frozen Valley. So if you spawn at this fast travel run down here, it's the same thing as the farm for the brains on the crystallization catalyst. It's going to be the big hologram circle with a bunch of enemies spawning in there. Now, I actually only killed the first 2 elites. One's going to spawn in like the middle of the arena, and then there's going to be one of the like white charger guys who spawns around the perimeter. Once I kill that one, who's the second to spawn, then I just run back to the mission start, hit abort, and then restart it. There's usually a pretty big gap between that guy and the final boss. So I usually just skip the final boss and just restart it. I find it to be much quicker for getting the polyatomic particles, but you can knock this out in just a few minutes for one whole activator. Yeah, that's basically your best ways of hard focusing crystallization catalysts and energy activators within this game. I do, once again, recommend just farming these passively as you're knocking out all of your other farms within the game. That's where I've basically gotten all of mine, but I figured with the release of Ultimate Valby, Luna, and a bunch of other items coming here within the next update, I think a lot of you guys are going to be needing some extra ones of these. So if you are looking to hard focus these, I definitely recommend any of these methods that I showed here in this video. Just once again, keep an eye out if you're trying to farm in groups of 3 or 4. It tends to do something a little weird with the missions and the enemies despawning, so you don't get enough score. So if you find yourself not hitting the guaranteed double rewards mark, try breaking down into groups of 2. But otherwise, that's going to do it for this video. Hopefully you guys found this helpful for getting your catalysts and your activators. If you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video. It really does help me out. Also consider subscribing for more First Descendant content. Once again, I'm going to be swiping for Ultimate Valby right when she drops and building her all day. So I'm going to be doing that over on stream. So hopefully I'll see you over there. Otherwise, I will have her build out very soon this week. So if you are looking forward to that, make sure you are subscribed. But thank you for watching this far in the video. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.